Hello, my crafty friends. It's Andrea from Prairie Sky Paper Crafts. So this week, I did a little something different over on my Facebook page. I did a daily this or that and let you guys pick what I am going to create with today. I did take a little bit of creative license with it, but we had Early Espresso versus Mary Merlot. Mary Merlot won handily. It was pretty much a landslide for every product that I'm using today. Sunflowers won out over snowflakes. Silver won out over gold. And circles won out over squares. So I'm just going to explain a little bit about what I've prepped here. So I've got a base of Mary Merlot, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Basic white, which is 4 by 5 1/4. Now I used some of the paper. This is the silver foil that's coming out in the new mini catalog, which will be launching on August the 3rd. So I chose the darker one. I don't know if you can see the texture. I had to close my curtain today because I did not want to blind you guys. The sun is beaming in here. So it's got a little bit of texture. There's also this bluey grayish silver and then the traditional super bright silver. So I did take a little bit of creative license just because I wanted some of the texture from this one. And I used my layering circles dies. I cut out 3 of the silver circles and then I cut out just one out of the basic white to layer over top of the larger scalloped silver, which I'm going to use for my sentiment. Now we're going to get to our card. I have a rough idea in my head. I haven't totally planned it out, so it is what it is at the moment. So I'm going to take the largest sunflower, and because I am using the ink to color it and it's water-based, I'm going to use my StazOn for this one. So I'm going to get it good. I love the smell of StazOn. I'm going to get it good and inky. Now, there is StazOn cleaner that you can clean this with. It does dry super fast, so you do need to work fairly quickly. This way is up today, I think. And I'm just going to do a lower corner. Give it a good push, and then pull it up. Okay, so there's our sunflower. Now, I'm just going to grab my ink pad and I'm going to open it up. I haven't quite decided what color I'm going to do the center yet, so I'm just going to leave it be, and I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of paper. There's a lot of ways that you can do coloring with the blend. You can use, and because I want to use Mary Merlot, I'm not using my watercolor pencils, which would be my go-to, or the blends, because I don't have, it doesn't come in the watercolor pencils, and I don't have Mary Merlot blends yet. I'm slowly adding to my collection. So I'm just using the blender pen and picking up a little bit off of my ink pad, and I'm just going to do each petal individually. And because the color is usually darker around the center, I'm going to start center out. And then if you want to lighten it, just scribble off until no more color comes off on your blend. And then you're good to go. This video might be a tad longer than my regular videos, just because of the coloring method that I'm using today. But it's all good. And as you go around with your color, it will get lighter. So pick it up from your ink pad as you like. And also, one of the nice things too is that you can do a quick go around the first time. And then as you're finishing, you can go around, blend it a little bit more, and then pick up a little bit more color where you think that there might need to be more color. I also like to go over this with Wink of Stella just to give it a little bit more shimmer and shine. We've got a few sunflowers growing in our garden and they're growing tall, but we haven't had any blooms on them yet. And the sunflowers in the fields around us are super, super short, and they've just within the last couple of days started to bloom. So hopefully we get a little bit more rain so that they start to grow and produce nice, big, happy sunflower heads. All right. I love the sunflower stamp. It was one of my must-haves in last year's annual catalog, and I am so happy that it got carried over to this year. I really do love watercoloring too because it gives such interesting depth and dimension. And really, it doesn't take that long, and it's actually kind of relaxing just to kind of hang out with some colors and add your own artistic flair. I love different colored flowers. I had a yellow and green garden. We had some lime green Nicotina. It was so pretty. I love the smell of it. This year we've just got the regular pansies, petunias. We've got some potato vine. And the animals really haven't been messing with it too much. I'm really surprised. We've got about, 5 or 6 wild rabbits, and they're even leaving the vegetables alone in the garden this year. So I also want to mention that each week I send out a creativity newsletter. It's got some tips and ideas. There's one free project tutorial every single week, and that's exclusive to my email subscribers. So if you would like to get my weekly email, hit the link below, and you will be added to get it. Now, I just sent it out. I usually send it out on Thursdays. And in this issue, I've got some info about my BOGO sale, which is going to coincide with Celebration this year, which also starts on August the 3rd. So if you're in Canada, you can purchase your Stampin' Up! Items, and for every $60 you spend before tax and shipping, you get one item for free from Tier 1. There's also a couple of Tier 2 items that you can get for $120 before shipping and tax. So as I mentioned earlier, if you'd like a catalog, let me know and I would be happy to pop one into the mail. Or if you're local to me, I can drop one off for you, no problem at all. And also, as I mentioned, I'm doing my BOGO sale, so I've got a whole bunch of retired products that desperately need a new home because I can only create with so much. And for each thing that you purchase, so if you purchased, say, $60 from my BOGO sale, you'd get $60 to spend, or you'd spend $60 on my Stampin' Up! Store, plus you would get the free BOGO item. So for $60, you would get the retired product, plus the new product that you pick, plus Celebration items. It's a pretty hot deal. And also, during Celebration, there's a really awesome kit edition that's coming. I'll have some more details about that closer, but you'll be able to get some free items in your kit as well. And your kit is completely customizable. You can pick whatever you want to add into your kit. And there's never any pressure to sell. Most of the people that I have on my team do it for the discount. They love the products and they love to create and they love getting the discount on it. So if you'd like some info about Stampin' Up!, what it's like to be a demonstrator, what you need to do, pop me an email. I'll stick my email address at the bottom of the video as well. And I am happy to answer any questions that you have. All right, we're just about done this flower. I am going to go back and add just a little bit of dimension when I'm done. It is pretty flat and one layered right now. All right, there we go. So now where there's the darker bits, I'm just going to go load up my brush with some ink, and I'm just going to trace the darker lines a little. And the outside of the petals, just to give it some pop. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. The stamps naturally have some contour and some definition where you should add a little bit more color or a little bit more detail. Let's see, I'm gonna do this guy down here. And the Stampin' Up! Artists are really quite amazing in their talent and what they're able to produce. A few weeks ago, I popped a video onto my Facebook page showing how the hand-penned petals designer series paper was created, and it's actually hand painted and then reproduced. It's really incredible. And actually that paper is one of them one of the papers that's on sale this month for the designer series paper. It's 15% off. Okay, so I'm content with how that guy looks now. I'm just going to rub off until there's no more ink showing. It's really important to make sure you take all of the ink off. I was teaching a class one time and somebody had, I think it was a dark green, and the next person had just grabbed it and did a really light color, so the dark green showed through their light color. It was okay. It was fixable. We restamped and moved on. But it's not something that you really want to have happen. All right. Let's see what crushed curry is going to look like for the center. I might add in some soft suede as well. I'm just going to do quick little circles with my crushed curry. And again, because I'm going to add another color in, I'm not too worried about coloring all of the white. And one of the things that you want to be careful of as well is to make sure that you don't go over the same spot too many times. It's not such a big deal with the thick basic white or the watercolor paper, but I'm just using the regular basic white here. So when you do that, if you go over the same spot too many times, you do run the risk of your paper starting to pill. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the soft suede and go into the center a bit. So you can still see the stamp. Now, if I had done this with just the memento, my ink would be running already. And I'm just going to do a few little bits here with the soft suede. There we go. Okay, now if you wanted to, you could go over it with Wink of Stella. Oh, excuse me. I'm not going to do that today, just because I really kind of like the card the way that it is. Now I've got my 3 silver circles and my sentiment. So I'm going to place my sentiment in the center, and I'm actually going to grab my Merry Merlot again. And this is one of the sets that you can get for free. It's a $60 freebie. And it also has matching dies that go with it, so it cuts out the sheep. It's super cute. I have both of them. I will be showing them soon. Okay, so I've got the sentiment, "You're amazing" here, and I'm just going to show you a trick. Now, if you've been around for a while, you've probably seen this trick. I've shown it a few times on my video. So I've got my stamp with "You're amazing" pointing up, and I'm just going to grab the sticker and I'm going to pull it off the backing, and I'm going to put it onto my stamp block, grab my take your pick tool, and I'm going to pry off the backing tape. There's one. There's, oops, come on. There's the other side. All right. So now I've got my stamp here, and I've got my sentiment on the block. Now I'm just going to hover it over top of my stamp, and when it's exactly where I want it to be, I'm just going to push down and then gently pry it off. Now, these are really sticky, and it hasn't happened to me, but I have heard that they stay stuck on the block and they don't always come off, or people aren't always careful and they pull the foam away from the red rubber. So to make it slightly less sticky, I just tap it onto my hand a couple of times. Okay, so Mary Merlot is back in the picture here, and I'm just going to stamp "You're amazing" into the center, and then I'm going to roll through the ink pad just to give it a little bit of color on the edges. Oops. Okay. This, I'm going to adhere flat with some Stampin' Seal. And just center it, or roughly center it, onto our silver. And then I'm going to do this at the bottom. And I'm going to do this one flat, but I'm going to pop the other circles up onto dimensionals just to give it a little bit of detail and interest. So actually I'm going to stick this onto our backing paper first, because whoops, the white is slightly smaller than the matte that we did. So oops, we can have a little bit of overlap. Okay, roughly centered there. And then "You're amazing" is going to go right to the edge for that one. And then we're going to pop these guys onto dimensionals. I go through a crazy amount of dimensionals. Absolutely love them. What's your favorite adhesive? Let me know down below. All right. So we're going to put a circle here, I think. We're going to do one here, and the last one we're just going to stick right here. All right, so I don't really like where that one is, so we're going to move it a little bit. Okay, take your pick spatula to the rescue. There we go. Just going to pull this off gently. I'm just going to move this down a little so that we can see more of the sunflower. All right. Okay. So there's our sunflower card, Mary Merlot, silver, and circles. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe down below so you're notified every single time a brand new video comes up. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.